Jay Gabler, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter, back with another special episode of the DNT Minute featuring my column, Front Row Seat. This week, I talk about meeting Jesse Eisenberg at the Depot. Sort of. You'll understand when you hear the column. When I was sitting in the Depot's rehearsal room August 14th, an older gentleman strolling through the performing arts wing stopped to peer curiously through the room window. From the looks of it, he was a tourist on his way to the history exhibits or to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum, wondering why 5 people were sitting around a laptop in an empty room. He probably didn't guess that the answer was that we were having a video call with Jesse Eisenberg, the Oscar-nominated actor, filmmaker, and playwright. You know, just another day at the Depot. After waving a quick greeting to Eisenberg, I moved off camera to be a fly on the wall. I didn't want to get in the way of the conversation Eisenberg was about to have with 3 actors and a director preparing to bring his 2013 play, The Revisionist, to the Depot Theater. That production, which opened this past Thursday, August 22nd, and runs through tonight, Saturday, August 24th, is the second show in 2 years that director Mark Armstrong has brought to the venue. Armstrong, originally from Duluth, now lives in New York and is well connected in the theater world there. Eisenberg, Armstrong explained, wanted to support the Duluth production. The playwright took an hour to connect with the cast while he was in Europe, filming a second sequel to the 2013 hit, Now You See Me. In addition to Armstrong, actors Annabelle Armour, Noah Benjamin, and John Pershavinsky were at the Depot on August 14th. All were eager to connect with the writer of the play they were just a week away from opening. This was the hardest play I've had to learn in 50 years, Armour told Eisenberg, giving credit to the work put in by the actor who originated her role. During the play's off-Broadway run, Vanessa Redgrave played the role of a Polish woman who receives a visit from a twice-removed American cousin, opposite Eisenberg himself as her younger cousin. The actors were curious to hear more about the real-life inspiration for the play, a visit Eisenberg paid to a relative of his own in Poland. It's just amazing to think about what this person survived, said Eisenberg about his relative who lived through the Holocaust. But she was so funny in spite of it all, this kind of weird gallows humor. The play is set in the apartment of Armour's character, Maria. Eisenberg shared a Google Maps image of his relative's utilitarian building so the actors could see what the character's neighborhood looks like. It really feels quite Soviet and just kind of depressing, observed Eisenberg. Armour pointed out that in Duluth, the set depicting that tiny Soviet-era apartment is being created on the Depot Theater's high proscenium stage. Big height over it, said Armour, but the interesting part is that it actually makes the apartment feel even smaller. Given that the play is set in Poland, it includes some dialogue spoken in that language. How's the Polish going? Asked Eisenberg. It's mostly there, but then it's not there, admitted Pershavinsky. That led to a discussion of the Duluth actor's own background. It was my dad's first language, so I grew up around Polish. Pershavinsky said the character of Maria, as described and fictionalized by Eisenberg, reminded him of his Polish Minnesotan grandmother. When you showed up, she'd say, "Hello, stranger." The passive aggressiveness would come out as soon as you walked in the door. Benjamin, an actor from Duluth currently living in New York, plays the younger cousin, a writer who thinks he'll find a little peace and quiet in Poland. Benjamin and Armstrong wondered about the motivation of that character named David when he does things like put his legs up in the older cousin's lap. The sensories are tingling, said Eisenberg, pointing out that David gets stoned and decides it would be funny to mess with his serious-minded relative. He's not a bad person. He's just this indignant kind of guy who needs to be punched in the face once and he'll be fine. Legs also feature in an intentionally strange moment when David walks into a room to find his cousin's legs being shaved by a man he's never seen before. That turns out to be a cab driver named Zenon, played in Duluth by Pershavinsky. Can I ask you about leg shaving? Pershavinsky asked Eisenberg. Is this commonly done in Poland, that men shave women's legs? No, said Eisenberg. It's kind of a crazy story. And it turned out to involve the co-writer of the Barbie movie. Eisenberg was acting at the Atlantic Theater Company, he said, when artistic director Neil Pepe told a story about a play Noah Baumbach once wrote for the company. It didn't really work as a play, Eisenberg remembered Pepe saying, but there was this great scene where 3 guys all compared their genitalia size. That gave Eisenberg, he said, the idea that you've got to have something unusual, memorable in every play. I have 4 plays, and they all have something memorable. Eisenberg said he told his own Polish relative, who died of COVID in 2021, that he'd written a play inspired by her life, but he was never quite sure if she was fully aware of the scope of the thing. It's a testament to what the play means to Eisenberg that he chose to drop in on the Duluth cast to help them grapple with the script's twists and turns. The actors' interest was evident in their precise questions for the writer, and will be all the more so when The Revisionist is seen on stage here in Duluth. That's this week's column. I'll be back next week with a story about my visit to the Minnesota State Fair, where I will go on the hunt for Northlanders, Northland creations, etc., etc. Basically, traces of the Northland found at the Great Minnesota Get-Together. That's next week. Until then, I'm Jay Gabler, Duluth News Tribune.